You have asked for Monaco, but we have Monaco at home. Welcome to the Legion Square Grand Prix. All the cars are before the lights as the lights are going down now. And it is lights out. And the way we go, Tino, starting what I believe to be fourth, now slips into third position. No collisions as of yet. Everything is quite clean. Things get a little bit close between the V-Carb and the Ferrari as Lyte and Apple go side by side into the cocaine chicane. Both of them do it very cleanly low. There's a little bit of contact, but nothing too serious. And it seems like Robert here has lost his front wing. Very unfortunate for the Williams driver as all the drivers stream past him. It is Mr. Brian and Tino who hold on to the first two positions. Mr. Brian gaining from the unfortunate turn of events for Robert as we settle in. No safety car yet at Legion Square. Things are turning out really well as Tino now puts pressure on Mr. Brian going into the double hairpin. Mr. Brian goes wide. Tino takes the opportunity. He tries to get the position, but Mr. Brian holds on around the outside. Brilliant from him as they make a little bit of contact there. It was almost disaster for the Haas driver or the Mercedes driver as well as we fall into rhythm.
As we hop on board with Lyte now, still following the train of cars in front, going side by side with the Racing Bull of Jimbo on the long back straight. This is a difficult section to go side by side. They will try to do so in this corner.
I wanted to let you
Did Jimbo just crash? No, he did not. He's still side by side with the Mercedes. As Lyte now gets pushed into the wall by Jimbo and the Ferrari narrowly avoiding this whole altercation and profiting from it actually, as Lyte is now re-entered unsaved into the McLaren. What a horrible re-entry as he does it again with the Alpine of Monkman, losing its front wing. This is not great for Lyte.
This Racing Bull in this chaotic race has got a Ferrari behind him. Apple setting himself for a move. He goes for it. They are holding on side by side. Jimbo loses out. That Ferrari is gone.
So the race leader, Versatile, currently into the pit lane. Mr. Tino has already pitted. We can see if he comes out in front for the race lead. Then he hits the wall in the final sector there. Mr. Tino straight into the barrier. We'll have an onboard from Apple's POV.
No way, Tino!
Tino just turns in a little bit too early, head first into the barrier, and that is no wing. And he's going to have to pit once again, which is going to send him far back down the order.
Safety car will restart right now as we see the leader getting a great restart. First on the Williams, getting great getaways. You see the train of cars behind him, however, battling for position. One Mercedes and Alpine going to the first corner cleanly. Another Mercedes and Alpine going to the first corner. Lyte keeps his P8 for now as we hop on board with the race leader heading into the cocaine chicane. He hits the cocaine chicane, compromising his exit, which allows the Racing Bull of Jimbo to go side by side with the race leader on the back straight. They both really seem to be wanting this win. They will keep it wheel to wheel across the whole back straight into the left-hander momentarily. Will they keep it clean? They do not, as Versa gets hit by the Ferrari, who gets hit by the whole grid actually. Upside down the Williams now, as the whole grid drives into the full speed blind corner. Safety car gets called, the Williams.
How did Anthony get through there, bro?
I'm surprised nobody lost any body parts. Amazing scenes for those who managed to get through, but for those caught up in a collision, not so much. Now for the second safety car restart in a row, a different race leader this time leading the pack is Jimbo now. Great restart by him, creating a gap behind, which leaves Anthony under pressure by the Mercedes. His teammate Lyte following in P4 under pressure from Monkman, but they're all going through the first corner now cleanly. Oh, safety car! What happened? So we're on board now with Apple. Let's see what's going on here. Did someone go too early? Ooh, big crash under the safety car restart, and there's two cars going backwards.
Alright, the debris has been cleared up from that massive collision and we are ready to resume racing once again. Mad Jimbo will be leading the pack on the restart here. He chooses when he wants to accelerate. And he looks like he's gone quite early, but it's a very good getaway. Completely gaps Anthony behind him. Apple as well with a good restart. Builds up a little bit of a gap behind him. Let's see what happens on the restart here. The front pack seems pretty clean. Let's see what happens in the back. Versa in P11. He's got the McLaren in front of him. Martin's going to go a little bit wide. That's a brilliant overtake from Versa into the cocaine chicane. And it's a pretty clean restart overall.
Why is Martin lifting so much?
We are just about halfway or a little bit over halfway through the race now. And things are getting a little bit hairy between these three teams here. We got a Haas, a Williams, and a V-Carb now going down the straight. And it looks like Matt Jimbo is pushing these two drivers, making it almost 3 wide, going into the swooping left-hander there. And there's contact between the Haas and the Williams. And the Haas gets spun around as several cars go by. And it looks like he loses his rear wing. Oh, horrible for the Haas driver. Formula gets spun around, losing several parts on his car. Disaster as the race continues on.
And just like all the drivers and teams predicted, there will be rain picking up now in the last couple of laps of this race. Hopefully the drivers will be able to keep their cars on the road this time around, if you know what I mean. We have a pack of 6 cars separated by nothing with 6 laps to go. Everybody wants that win. Everybody's going to be giving it everything. And we'll see how this whole thing plays out right until the end.
Indeed, indeed. Now as we see Lyte now trying to put Monk under pressure here, going side by side with him, trying for a move around the outside. He does not make it as the Monkman defends his position quite well with the rain starting to pick up. The track is getting a little bit slippery there. You can see all the cars starting to get a little bit iffy on the corners as he tries for another move. Monk defends as Apple attacks Lyte. Lyte defends now. Lyte is just, he's in a sandwich here. Let's see how he is able to handle that as we go into the uphill section of the track. Everybody braking quite early, lifting quite early. We got a V-Carb sneaking around there as the rain is really pouring down now. Tricky conditions all around as we go into this bridge section. Lyte lifts a little bit late. He hits the wall there. And Apple slips right through into 4th position. Lyte's not going to be too happy with that mistake.
Look at Mr. Brian here in P7. That's Matt Jimbo doing the exact same mistake Mr. Tino did earlier this race. Hits that inside, then gets sent into the wall on the left. I don't think he's going to have enough time to recover from that crash in the 5 laps that are remaining. Mr. Tino right behind Anthony. Anthony going wide. Mr. Tino capitalizing on that and gets the overtake for the race lead done just before the cocaine chicane. Any onboard we switch to now, we see close racing, as we can see with Versa chasing down an Alpine here in P8 currently. The cocaine chicane is a very risky game. Oh, he hits the wall there.
Oh no.
And his own teammate's going to hit in the back of him and spins around.
Chaos everywhere on track. Apple trying to hold on to that position. We have a silver arrow incoming. Down the inside goes Lyte. We have a Mercedes on the podium. Apple trying to get the position back. He slips. He is not going to get that back anytime soon with these conditions.
With Mr. Brian once again, he's got Fancy right behind him with fresh tyres, and you can just see how confident Fancy is on these new tyres. He's sending moves down bizarre corners and making them stick perfectly fine. Monkman as well going down the inside of Brian, and Versa going through that same gap as well. That is Brian 3 positions down in the space of literally a couple of seconds. As we approach the double hairpins, it's a pretty risky overtake spot, especially in the rain, so I don't expect any moves to be done here. Monkman goes a little bit wide, which lets Versa gets past. Into P6, next up is Fancy. Oh no, Monkman zooms right past him as they enter the bridge straight now. Looks like they're going to go 3 wide into the next corner, which is definitely not a good idea yet. Versa's going to back out of that. Both the Alpines go wide into that wall there. It is very tricky right now in these conditions. Can Monkman get past Versa on this straight? Once again, it's a late defensive move from Versa. A little bit of contact, but Monkman still gets ahead. Versa is going to use even more curves here on this straight and get past Monkman once again. What is going on?
Yeah, and can I just say once again, very tricky conditions out there as we see Apple hitting the wall. A little bit of a complaint from him as Fancy shoves his way through. He takes absolute advantage of the situation. He shoves his way through into 4th position. He is now contender for that podium position. Apple is definitely displeased with himself for that mistake. He's not going to get that position back anytime soon, especially in this sector. We're now hopping on board with Lyte. He's putting pressure on Anthony. He is closer than ever before this race to that P2 position. Now, Mercedes have never finished 1-2 before, specifically with Lyte and Tino. Will today be the day as Lyte sets himself up for an overtake? He goes for it. It's Lyte into 2nd position. It's the Mercedes 1-2. It's the Mercedes 1-2 as Lyte takes over the Ferrari.
And just behind that, we have Fancy trying to get past Anthony as well. He has been picking up these cars one by one, trying to make Anthony his next target. Anthony actually goes a little bit wide in the cocaine chicane there, as you can see, losing Fancy just a little bit of time. Maybe Apple can get past him now though. Trying to help out his teammate a little bit. Doesn't look like he can though, as they go into the blind left-hander. Anything can still happen here in this race. We have 2.5 laps to go. The rain has fully came down now. And you can see Anthony going wide once again. Now Fancy's going to try to send a move down on Lyte. They almost touch into that corner. Great judgment from Fancy to lift them back out of that. We can see Apple as well, getting past Anthony, his own teammate. What a brilliant move from him. Versa going for another gap. He spots these opportunities, goes for it as he sends it on both the Ferraris. What a brilliant move. We love to see that.
That was indeed a crazy move. That was astonishing, honestly.
The curse is way different, by the way, because you need to live for every corner.
Now, Fancy has been moving up the order really quickly, and I think that's due to a different strategy. Whatever he's doing, it's paying off. He's putting Lyte under pressure now. Let's see how well he fares against these young drivers, against his old team. He goes for a move into the cocaine chicane, and he pulls it off. It was a bold move, but he was the man for the job. There goes Lyte's hopes and dreams. There goes the Mercedes 1-2 as Lyte, definitely upset, tries to get that position back. He is unable to do so as the Williams goes around his inside, and Lyte now under pressure from Apple. Apple trying to get the move around the outside, but he fails to do so, and he loses his front wing. Apple loses out. His car is it's in shambles, and it seems like he's out of the race. The rain continues to pour down on the track, making conditions tricky as ever. The race is slowly coming to an end, but Versatile here is not giving up. He casts his bid for second place against Fancy in the Alpine.
Just amazing racing standards from all of these guys up here in the top.
As we hop on board now with Robert. Robert has been trying to recover from a horrendous start to the race, and it seems like he's been able to get into the points as there is a collision with the V-Carb over there.
And once again, Mr. Tino will be crossing the line first, and he's going to keep his win this time around. It's redemption for Mr. Tino and Mercedes as he wins the mighty Legion Square Grand Prix. Fancy, after an amazing charge on his final stint in the rain, finishes up in P2. Versa rounds off the podium, Lyte in P4, Anthony and Mr. Brian close racing right till the end in P5 and 6, Monkman in P7, Robert in P8, and we're going to have Martin and Champ Stappen rounding off the point scoring positions.